Be here with my 3.21 League starter. It is going to be poison zombies slash summon skeletons. The reason I'm going with this instead of SRS is because SRS feels like more of a caster build than a minion build, and I wanted to do something more aligned with what a necromancer should be, where your minions are doing the damage and you are basically hands off. So this POB as well as the POB to my higher budget will be in the description below. I'll be in the comments answering any questions that you guys might have, so go ahead and post it there. So to get started, we're going to go through Act 1 and then all the way up to red maps. We grab Sacrifice as well as Spiritual Command and the Minion Defense Mastery. This is going to keep our zombies alive. And then as far as skills go, we have Summon Raging Spirits, Raise Zombie, and then Shield Charge and Flame Dash. Shield Charge is going to benefit from Spiritual Command, so it's going to make us zip around the map very quickly. Then we also grab War Banner for some increased physical damage. As far as our items go, we just want boots with movement speed. And then as far as weapons go, you want to look for +1 fire. If you don't get it, don't worry. It's not required. You're going to outlevel SRS pretty quickly. So just don't waste your currency or your time trying to get that. It's just a nice to look for. So the way we scale our damage is through three things. The most important is minion attack speed. The second most important is, because we're doing poison damage, minion attack speed. Then we scale curse effect, and then we scale aura effect. So those three things are key. Keep that in mind when you're looking at making upgrades. So first we grab Lord of the Dead. It's a more multiplier the more minions we have. Then we grab Death Attunement. We grab Sovereignty, which gives us aura effect as well as Reservation, and then we have Influence for the same thing. And then finally at the end of Act 4, we grab Golem Commander. We do our lab, and then we take Commander of Darkness. By doing it in that order, we're going to do the most damage possible and scale our... we're going to do the most damage possible. Going over skills, we're doing physical damage, so we grab Vulnerability. We share a 4-link with Multi-Strike and Melee Fizz with our Carrying Golem. You can also put Brutality or Ruthless instead of a Carrying Golem if you want. Spectre gets Clone Strike as well as Summon Phantasm. Skeletons get Feeding Frenzy. Whatever other links you have, you can put in here. Doesn't matter. Behead is good because it does double damage when you're low life. Not double damage, 31% more damage when the enemy is low life. Pride, Flesh and Stone, War Banner for physical damage, and then Haste. The haste is for us, not for our minions. They'll get tangential haste from standing next to us, but we want the movement speed, so that's why we take haste. Then as far as items go, you need 3 Wailing Essences of Fear. Just slap that on 2 Calling Wands, and then slap one on whatever gloves you're wearing for like 150% increased minion damage. Very easy to get. So moving on to Acts 5 through 10. So at this point, we're scaling our curse effect. So we're grabbing these 3 nodes right here. We're grabbing this cluster. We're grabbing Whispers of Doom. And then we're grabbing some minion damage in the form of Redemption and Righteous Army. And then we're also grabbing, starting to fix our defenses. We're not going all in on defenses, but we're just starting to get there. So we grab some life. We grab this block wheel. We grab some more life, and then we anoint Safeguard. Also one huge thing, between Act 5 and 10, that's when you can activate your poison or convert over to poison. You don't have to wait till you get Severed in Sleep, United in Dream, the Covenant, any of that nonsense. All you need is 4 Ghastly Jewels with chance to poison on hit. Whatever else you roll is just upside, but you need poison chance to hit. You need 4 of them. So with this, combined with here to our zombies, combined with chance to poison, you end up having something like an 80 to 90% chance to poison with your zombies, which is where we're getting all this damage from. In an ideal world, instead of carrying golem, you would have summon skeletons in this link, but the problem is you don't really have mana to cast it, and you can't really do Eldritch Battery that early just because you don't have any survivability, which is going to be a common problem that you have until you get more investment into the builds, and ultimately until you get a Mage Blood. It there's just so many problems to solve with permanent minions. GGG did not make this helpful. But anyway, we grab Desecrate Flesh Offering because we want that minion attack speed that Flesh Offering gives. Um, we grab Unbound Ailments for increased poison damage, chance to poison for our zombie and our carrying golem. Our skeletons get Withering Touch. Withering Touch is huge. It gives 90%, enemies take 90% increased chaos damage. So you need that if you're going to do any kind of poison scaling. We grab Malevolence for increased damage over time. Link that to Generosity so we can give it to our minions. And then we grab Haste and Tempest Shield. And then we put our curses on totems, just so that the totem casts it for us automatically. And we link all this to life tap because all of our mana is reserved. But yeah, so Despair does 300,000 damage on its own, almost 400,000, and Temporal Chains does 750,000 damage on its own. That's the power of scaling curse effect. So that's why we do it. That's why you need it. That's why when you convert over, you kind of need all these things to fall in place first, right? So you want to make sure you have the curse effect. You want to make sure you have the jewels. Then you can do your convert. The good thing is though, it's dirt cheap to switch over. You're literally just swapping some gems. So when you talk to Lily Roth in Act 6, you're pretty much good to go. And then as far as your gear goes, you want to slap a Screaming Essence of Fear on a Convening Wand, and then craft minion attack speed. On the shield, you're looking for just generic stats, so life, minion, minion res, your resistances, your attributes, whatever you need. On your helmet, you're gonna want to craft +1 to zombies and skeletons. You get this from a Betrayal Unveil. So just buy helmets or farm Betrayal in Act 9. Your gloves, same thing. Just put a Screaming Essence of Fear on them, and then look for like life or resistance. Whatever else you get is nice. Your amulet, your rings, and your belts are for fixing your attributes and resistances. So that's why that's there. And then, like I mentioned before, you're gonna want 4 of your Ghastly Jewels. So 1 in the belt, your Stygian Vice, and then 3 on the tree. And then at this point, I would recommend grabbing a Rot Gut and a Quartz Flask. The Rot Gut is phenomenal because it gives you Onslaught as well as Quicksilver effect. So it's like having a Quicksilver and a Silver Flask rolled up in one. And then the Quartz Flask is really nice because now that you're doing damage over time, you want to just blast through the enemies and drag your minions with you rather than kind of sit in the enemy's face and do that dance, right? Your minions are going to kill everything incidentally with just a single swipe. So the faster you run, the faster your clear is going to be. And then moving on. So once we get into maps, this is where we get our first cluster. And this is where we start focusing a little more on defenses, right? So we pick up our first cluster jewel. The only thing we need out of this cluster is Skeletal Atrophy. Here's the most ideal though. You get Skeletal Atrophy, you get Call to the Slaughter, and you get Feasting Fiends. Feasting Fiends in the back, Call to the Slaughter in the front, and then Skeletal Atrophy in the front. I believe this is the only combination that works. So if you get this, hooray, you can sell that for multiple divine, roll it again. If you don't, if you just get Skeletal Atrophy or like one or the other, then that's fine too. You just need Skeletal Atrophy, that's it. Then as far as your medium clusters go, you want Life from Death, as well as Hulking Corpses and Dread March. If you get Blessed Rebirth, it's hard to roll, but if you get it, that's nice too. That's a huge DPS increase for your skeletons. But if not, don't worry about it. Life from Death, Dread March, and Hulking Corpses is what you actually want. don't actually need that node. Whispering Dooms fell off somehow. Um, yeah, that's about it for early maps. Skills, it's all the same thing. For skeletons, we get Culling Strike now because we don't need Withering Touch. So that's a nice addition. Malevolent, same thing. Tempest Shield, Determination. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So Bone Offering, Determination, and Tempest Shield, you only need those once you hit that wall when you're doing maps. Uh, Prior to that, just blast with as much DPS as you can. Um, it's gonna be better to clear as many maps as you can just for progress and getting ahead, rather than slogging through each map. Yeah, you're tanky, but now you're moving at like half the speed. So only switch to this once you hit that wall. Alright, and then as far as items go, on your helmet, you're gonna want to look for +1 minion skill gems, as well as crafting that same raised zombie skeletons. Your chest, you can get 100 chests at this point. I just picked the one with life, percent life, and then crafted spell damage. But obviously, whatever resin you get is also nice. Gloves, you can spam Screaming Essences of Fear. They should be like 1 chaos each. But you spam Screaming Essences of Fear until you get T1 spell suppress, and then you craft on life. Same thing with your boots. You craft these with Screaming Essences of Zeal until you get T1 spell suppress, and then craft on life. Your amulet, you need to roll +1. It is going to be expensive, and then allocate charisma. It is going to be expensive, but it's definitely worth it. And then your bone ring, you're going to look for minion attack speed, minion move speed, as well as life and any resistances. Your ring 2, your belts, and then your yeah, your ring 2 and your belt. Well, not really your amulet, but your ring 2 and your belt are going to be what carries you. As far as like fixing resistances, fixing affixes, whatever your gear misses, these two will pick up. So it's a lot of pressure. You can also go for a worse bone ring if you get a fractured one with minion attack speed and cast speed. Then you can just craft with deafening essences of sorrow, fear, sorry, sorrow, rage for attributes, or um, anger, hatred, and spite, whatever the lightning one is. Uh, yeah, I think that's about it. Yep. So that's it for early maps. All this gear maybe is 3, 4 divine, maybe less than that. Um, Super easy to craft, like not challenging at all. And then when we switch over to yellow maps, yellow to red maps, it's still pretty much the same thing. The only thing different here is we pick up an impossible escape so that we can save some points. We grab Golem Commander, the Curse Effect, and then Indomitable Army. And the rest of that is going to go into these small cluster jewels. So this build is going to require a small cluster jewel, 3 passive, eye level 84 cluster jewels, so that you can roll 35% increase effect. This is going to be very expensive, but you need it so that you can get all the auras that you need for this build. It's also going to need a small cluster for spell suppress. Thankfully, this one's dirt cheap. I think I bought mine for like 30 chaos last league. So you can get this, roll it for dexterity, and then roll it for untouchable, so you get spell suppress and a little bit of evasion rating. Other than that, I think it's pretty much the same. Yeah, nothing really changed with the tree. As far as skills goes, skills are all the same still as well. We pick up discipline and vitality so that we have a little more defenses. Same thing, malevolence is linked to generosity still. and Desecrated Bone Offering, Life Tap, all that. We pick up Stone Golem. We drop the Carrying Golem. We don't really need the damage. We need the survivability more than anything. And the Carrying Golem combined with Vitality gives us 600 regen a second. So that's definitely going to be worth it. And then last, let's go over the gear. So this is unfortunately where it does get expensive. So here we have a +1 wand. You roll this with a 4-socket resonator, hoping to get +2, but if you get +1, then that's okay. Then you do prefixes cannot be changed and reforge for speed until you get a decent attack speed roll. And then finally you finish it off with the trigger craft. If you're feeling spicy, you can try to unveil trigger. It does have a high chance of showing up, and then you can bench craft whatever else you want. You can bench craft like minion damage. Then as far as the shield goes, now you're looking for a block chance. So you can just roll this with, like, you can just chaos roll it. You aren't gonna get +1 to minion skills though, unfortunately, if you do that. But you will get a good defensive shield. Um, the helmet is gonna be kind of difficult to craft. What you need to do here is a little tricky. You need to get +1 minion skill gems and then do prefixes cannot be changed, Aisling, and try to unveil raised zombies. And then you can finish the craft with prefixes gotta be changed, reforge for um, any resistance, so fire, cold, or lightning, and then craft spell suppress to finish it off. You're also gonna need mana reservation in the helmet, and then you can go for a despair curse effect, temp curse effect, whatever else you want. Gloves, same thing. Spam with Screaming Essences of Fear until you get T1 Spell Suppress, and then craft T1 Spell Suppress and Implicit. Same boots, same jewelry, everything's the same. You can pick up a roomies at this point to help block your, or to help cap your block. Um, and at this point, you're pretty tanky. Your physical hits or your max hits aren't gonna be that high unless you get Molten Shell. Actually, they nerfed Molten Shell, didn't they? Oof. I don't know. You're not gonna have a lot of max hit, I guess. But this should be fine to help you finish clearing the Atlas. Just don't get hit, I guess. Don't get slammed. Um, but yeah. So that's the guide. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And like I said before, the POBs are going to be in the description. So grab them, check them out. I'm here to answer any questions you guys might have. There'll be a follow-up video to this going over the high budget version. But I'm excited. I'm excited for this league. Minion wands might be good with the Crucible. I have no idea. I hope GGG didn't do the thing where they're like, "Oh yeah, we gave you 5%, you know, minion attack and cat speed, but your minions take 200% increased damage." Like, please, please, permanent minions are holding on by a thread. Like, we cannot go any further back on this. But anyway, other than that, Grumpy out.